Hey everybody, it's the Ordinary Joe Show. I always still feel like I'm famous. So today we are in the living room of my glorious mansion in Winnipeg, and with me I have a very special guest, Andrea Richardson, and she's a good friend of mine for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
We met online. I feel like it's like online dating.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, we met online, and today we have no plan at all about what we're going to talk about. And we've already established the ground rules that it is a shoot the shit session, and the fuck word is allowed. So anything can happen here.
Be prepared. You've been warned.
You've been warned. Yeah, exactly. And like I talk about with my other podcasts, is that I always like to hunt down people that are ordinary people, extraordinary people, but doing really kick-ass things. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about here, but how about we kick off the little session? And do you want to just talk a little bit about yourself and what you're into? Because I think that is going to lead into some really great discussion.
That sounds great. First of all, thank you for inviting me on this show. It's pretty great to be thought of on this in this platform. Podcasts are one of my weaknesses. I listen to them quite often. So to be on one is pretty amazing. I'm an educational audiologist. and I work with First Nations children, and I fly into remote communities, usually flying, and then you have to boat across to the community or helicopter across to the community or winter road. That's how remote, just giving an idea. And working in the schools, making sure that the children can have their communication health taken care of. And so there's many adventures that go on with that. Traveling with me is always an adventure. Let's just leave it there. The audiology team pretty sure could attest to that. I enjoy running, and I dabble in triathlon also, and then ultra marathons. So an ultra marathon is anything above 42 kilometers. So that is fun. It's the challenge of it all, and putting all the pieces together and seeing where they lead you and where they fall and what you need to quickly learn. Steep learning curve.
Yeah, definitely, because that's not an easy thing, is it?
No.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I love about your story, and that we always have so much to talk about, is that your audiology world, like your travels up north, have connected you with your sport and getting to know the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's all kind of connected. So I think what I would be interested in talking about to begin with is first of all, let's talk about like how long have you been going up north, and you've really connected with the communities up there.
Yes.
And like on a really emotional, like personal level, which is super super cool. I don't think it's just a job for you.
No, it's funny. I was actually having a conversation last night with my dad, and he was asking me what my 5-year plan was and all these fatherly type questions, and the monetary compensation came up, and I was like, I don't do what I do for monetary compensation. I do what I do because I enjoy what I do, and there happens to be a paycheck, but that's not why I do what I do.
That's right.
And he was very he didn't understand that concept. I mean, it was just odd to him that wasn't the forefront. And I'm like, if it's only about the money, then that's what it's about. But there's more to life than just monetary compensation. I mean, you need it to survive, but beyond that, shouldn't be your sole purpose for doing something.
Yeah, and I think, at some point, many people, and I won't say all people because we can't blanket statement,
No.
but at some point in life, we get that lesson, don't we? Sure, money is great, and money buys a lot of things, but it goes beyond success, and happiness goes beyond just the financial gain. So given that, so in what way has working with the communities up north really been impactful for you, I guess, because it's more than money?
Yes. When I can explain to everyone what the remote looks like. I can explain it to you, and you will understand. But until you're actually there, and then you get the aha moment, then you finally get it. And so it's just yeah, it I really am very fond of the Island Lake area. So that's Garden Hill, Wasagamack, Red Sucker Lake, St. Teresa Point. They're all connected by water, and they're all their own separate islands. They're separate yet together. And anyways, so with St. Teresa Point, their church burned down in 2021. And anyway, so then I took it upon myself to fundraise for the community because it was never talked about down here. And being that remote, you can feel, we've all felt this way, you feel alone, remote or not. You can always feel so isolated. And so then, given the fact that they're isolated times two,
Yeah.
right? And so just feeling alone, feeling that no one down here, we call Winnipeg down south. Like they just felt alone. So I was like, oh, what can I do on my end? And so then I fundraised as much as I could, and then I talked about it and just that kind of thing. And fundraising is hard because everyone sort of, you can fundraise forever for everything, right? And so it's more about creating the awareness. And then in November of last year, I did this challenge where I rode my bike inside for every weekend in November. So the first weekend was 50 kilometers Saturday, 50 kilometers Sunday. The following weekend was 50 kilometers Saturday, 50 miles Sunday. The following weekend was 50 miles Saturday, 100 kilometers Sunday. And then the following weekend was 100 kilometers Saturday and 100 miles. And so I'd ridden 100 miles outside once before, but I've never ridden 100 miles inside on the trainer. So it's like biking to nowhere, literally.
Yeah.
It took me 7 hours. And anyway, so then it's just basically, if you can endure that whole process and you can endure all that, then you're, at the same time, the community knows that they're not alone, that people do think about them. And at the same time that I was riding 100 miles, you're going through all these emotions, right? And my really good friend Tanya, she's from the community, she was messaging me, and she was saying, as a result of all of this that I was doing for the community, all this support, the community put together a makeshift church, and they were having a service at the same time that I was doing 100 miles.
That's amazing.
Right? And so then they were praying for me, and it was just because you're feeling all these emotions. Like, you go through your mind, does anyone, like here in Winnipeg, is anyone really caring? Like, is this making a difference?
Yeah.
I didn't really fundraise as much as I could. What can I be doing more? And then Tanya is very wisdomy. She's a great human. I'm sure wisdomy is a word at some point. She's like, it's not about the money. It's about you showing your support and doing what you can to show the community your love and your love. And so then when you think about it like that, that's pretty much what everything should be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In a perfect world.
Yeah.
And at the same time too, I was inspired by you and Leroy, and so that sort of springboarded. Yeah. It helped progress or whatever, tumbleweed or.
Yeah, that was really, like even hearing your story and your journey, doing all that work to support your community up north, and it goes beyond the money because we were all connected in a really special way, and that post that you made about, your friends up north and, going to the church service and, they had felt a level of despair and hopelessness and, it was really tough. But here they knew that you were doing something really hard for them. You were suffering to support them. And there's that connection. And then just knowing, like for our friends who are just tuning in, Leroy was a special person who lived on the streets. And, there are countless stories about how he connected the world. But his sister-in-law, who lives in the jungle of Guyana, never met her in person, but we were able to share that story with her and show her that Leroy's legacy is not only just living on, but it's connecting more and more people.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have that connection and know that people are out there are thinking of you, supporting you, willing to suffer for you, willing to go the extra 100 miles for you, like that's
Yeah.
huge, because that's what gets you through the tough times.
Right? Yeah. And I think that, I mean, given the fact that the world is a place, we'll leave it at that. It's a bit of a nutter place, and we can all attest to that. You can really, really, really see the disconnect.
Huge.
Like, you can just feel it, and it's everywhere, and we've gotten used to not being connected, and I have a real hard time with that, and I struggle with that, and I was in a hard place. I'm just coming out of that, right? And so I do my best to look for those connections, like talking with the grocery store people, talking with random people, smiling, giving someone a random compliment. I mean, it sounds really trivial or really small, but as humans, I'm finding we love to complicate everything. We overthink. And we turn the simplest things into the hardest things. I mean, well, you like someone's hair, tell them you like their hair. You like their glasses, tell them you like their glasses. Like, you're inspired by them, say you're inspired by them. You love someone, tell them you love them. It's not complicated.
It's not complicated. And one simple thing like that can yield such big results, because, looking from the outside in, a person might think that's just a bike ride, it's just a bike ride, but look at the impact that had not only on your friends up north, but on yourself, because you probably had some lessons yourself going on that journey.
Yes. Always lessons. I love being the student. I love, that's one of my favorite things, is always learning, and you're given, there's always things that we have to. An elder was talking with us, and he was saying to us that the world is always giving you signs. You just need to open your eyes to them.
Yeah.
And so before he said that, earlier this year, I lost my really good friend, Chris. He passed away suddenly. And when I was walking into work the morning that he passed, I didn't know at this point. I was walking up like the sidewalk to work. I was the first one there. And there was this dead bird laying in front of me. And I was like, oh, that's sad. And so then I went and took it. There's this pine tree in, like, just in the front. So I legit buried it. And made this little makeshift little thing for it, said a prayer, and then went inside, and life goes on. I was just getting ready to text Chris.
Wow.
Just getting ready to text him because it was Monday. I hadn't talked to him for a few days. It was the Tuesday actually after the long weekend in May. And then whatever, I was just like legit picking up my phone, and then I guess an email came in. I hadn't read my email yet. This was like around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then these people start coming to my office. And then my friend Kendra was like, did you read your email? And I was like, no. And so then she's like, you should check. And so then I did. And it was that, he had suddenly passed away.
Shit.
And so then that's devastating, because he was basically here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so then the elders came. That's what I love about where I work, is that there's elders always on hand, and we can learn so much. And that's what he said. He said on that exact moment, that day when we went to go have our sharing circle, he said, there's always signs. The world's always telling you something. And I was like, oh, the dead bird was a sign that something had happened, and I just didn't know yet.
Something had happened. Yeah. And that, like, you provided such honor and care for that bird too, in its final moments, right? Yeah. So it's, and so now I always believed in signs, but now I'm not looking for them, but you become acutely aware of things. And so, and it's just a different perspective. It really causes you to listen more so than talk. Because I'm a talker. But I find myself just sort of observing a lot more, and just really just listening to people. So it's just all part of it, all part of the growth. part of the growth, part of the journey. And when you still yourself and become open yourself to receiving those lessons, and the gifts come along too. And that's kind of one thing that I've learned over the past couple of years, because we have all faced our share of adversity, and sometimes we want to hide and stay away from that adversity. Fair enough. But with every piece of adversity comes a lesson.
Yes.
And comes a gift.
Yes.
Yeah. And being open to that is kind of our saving grace.
Yeah. And not resisting it and just accepting it. And so things don't work out X way. Well, there's clearly a reason why it doesn't work out X way. Like for this job that I have, it's not even a job. It's just what I do, is what I tell everyone.
Yeah.
I applied for it in 2017, June. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I did not get it. And so that they hired someone else. And so then I remembered that at my interview, one of the clinical leads, she said that, oh, we'll probably be hiring someone else. If you don't get this, we'll probably be hiring someone else in like the new year. And so then for whatever reason, so fast forward to January 2018, the next day I was checking the website, and the next day it was the deadline. So I had I had like 12 hours to get my stuff together. But the funny thing is I had it all ready from before. So I just resubmitted my things, and then boom, February 12th, 2018.
That's amazing.
So the organization had to go through a learning curve with that first audiologist that didn't work out. Oh. She ended up quitting.
Yeah.
And then they took from that what they learned. And then I came on, and then they didn't allow their same mistakes so that I would stay.
Yeah.
And so had I been that first audiologist,
right. It happens for a reason.
Right?
Yeah. It didn't happen for a reason. Yeah.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so that was pretty fantastic. And it's amazing how you can change one thing and it just changes your entire life. Like I didn't realize, I used to work in private practice for audiology. And it's never my jam. I mean, I love audiology, but that's just the environment wasn't. Right. I always knew that I'd never wanted to be in private practice. Anyways, I was being bullied. At work.
Yeah.
And I never really, you just accept it. But also too, in my marriage, we're friends, but we're not together. We're better, whatever. And so, but it was the same kind of idea. You get used to feeling bad about it, and that's the normal.
That becomes normalized.
Yes. And so then I got this new job with Manitoba First Nations. And then I started getting respect, which gave me the confidence to realize my marriage probably isn't the greatest thing in the world. Gave me the confidence to separate. Best decision we both could have made for ourselves and our daughter.
Yeah.
And then so all those, chain of events. Yeah. Sort of, you get that confidence just from one little change.
One little thing.
And
I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you were open to that one little change and open to receiving that lesson. Yeah. Yeah.
Because no one ever wants to admit, right? You don't ever want to admit that, oh, my job isn't, I'm not really happy, or oh, my marriage, that's
right.
That you're supposed to stay together, you're supposed to work it out, you're supposed to.
That's right.
But sometimes the supposed to is not good for anyone.
Yeah, and I think we get wrapped up with this, a few notions is that our life has to be linear and it has to follow like a certain expected path that society places on us. Yeah. We're supposed to do this, stay in one marriage, we're supposed to have this certain kind of job and make a certain income, and that's the way it's supposed to go. And so when we might not necessarily be open to those little hints, like you need to make a change. It's time to make a change. And it's okay to veer off that path that everybody else expects you to be on.
I've always been off that path. Yeah. I don't think I ever follow a path.
Which I love.
think I just do my own thing, and
that's the best thing.
That's what you have to do. And you always end up being a trailblazer without even meaning to, just because you're like, or you get told no. Yeah. And then you're like, well, I'll show you. Yeah. Just like when Google Maps tells me it's going to take 2 hours and 12 minutes to get to X. I'm like, I'll show you, Google. Yeah. I'll get there faster.
Yeah, there's another path. Yeah, there's always another path. And you have to make sure that you're doing that inner work and having the balls to give the other path a try, regardless of anything. you got to give the other path a try.
Oh, absolutely. And taking those risks, and it sounds so cliche and it sounds so like just words, but it is. You're probably more than likely going to fail. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But is it failing if you're trying? No.
No, and some of the best, most epic failures and fuck ups have had,
no, that's the first swear. We've only sworn once this time.
I know we're high schedule. I really apologize, you guys. Like, we're not meeting our demand here.
No.
We're not delivering.
Not giving enough fucks.
Fuck. Okay, let's take this on another path. As far as giving fucks, is that I think sometimes when we give too many fucks about what people think or what we're supposed to do, or about stuff that just doesn't matter,
yes,
we could do another podcast.
I have reached this point in my life.
Yeah,
I have reached this point in my life where I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna be respectful. If I don't agree with you, I'm gonna be respectful. I'm not gonna be mean, because you always lead with kindness and love.
Yeah.
And so my outer face may be, oh yeah, but my inner face is being like, huh?
Yeah.
You just reach this level where you just don't care anymore about that stuff.
Yeah.
I need to care about the stuff that's actually making a difference. I need to care about the stuff, the meat and the potatoes. That's where I need to focus on. I don't care about that my meal that I'm ordering is going to take 5 extra minutes. I'm not going to care that the bus is 5 minutes late. I'm not going to care that it's snowing. I can't change those things. Why am I going to waste my energy on things that really we shouldn't really give a fuck about?
Yeah.
I care about the community, making these connections, making these differences, making sure that we're all okay as humans.
Yes. Yeah.
And I get so people don't understand that concept. Like last night we were talking around, we had a family holiday gathering, and I'm just saying that, it's kindness, it's caring about people. I do what I do because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Have we lost our sense of the right thing to do?
I think we've lost our sense of the right thing to do, and our sense of empathy.
Yes.
Yeah. And we are giving our fucks to things that are dividing us.
Yes.
And getting so pissed off about stuff like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you're a good person, if you believe X, Y, and Z, and I think it's a bit wackadoodie, I don't give a fuck.
No.
If you're a good person,
yes,
you're not snorting crack on a baby's bum, I don't care. And even if you are, if that's where you're at your journey, like, I love you as a person.
I've noticed that we're so quick to cut each other down.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. And I got, like I said, I struggled for during COVID, and then how everything after COVID and everything got lifted, all the restrictions came on, we had to be normal all of a sudden. It was a complete, everything shut down, and then, oh, surprise, everything's open, you can go back to living normally. But I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. And
combined with losing Chris, and then combined with developing crappy habits over those 2 years.
Yeah.
And all that. So I struggled over the summer. I basically gave up running. I basically gave up pretty much lots of things, just because I was just not feeling it. I was not enjoying it. I wasn't living. I was worried about, I was giving my fucks to things that just, youth, like, just at that moment, I just, I didn't know how to handle it. And so then finally started talking about it more. Yeah. And instead of hiding behind it, owning it, trying to figure out how and why. And then I was at a few races where I didn't do any running races, but I went to, for my friends were, so I went to show support. Yeah. I volunteered at all the races because I'm like, this is going to help me get the love back. And so then I was talking with some people, and they were feeling the same way. And so then everyone has this preconceived notion too, right? Andrea a year ago was at every race. Andrea a year ago was doing X, Y, and Z. Andrea a year ago was doing this. Well, I'm not Andrea a year ago. I'm Andrea 2022. Right. And so then I'm like, no, I'm not. I got okay with saying I'm not okay.
There's a couple things here that I'm noticing that I really love and respect about you. Number one, like, somebody of the millions who are listening to this podcast right now,
because we have a huge following.
Of
course. Subscribe now.
Exactly. Hit that like button. No,
Yeah.
but honestly, like I'm guessing and hoping and guessing, but more guessing is that at some point somebody's gonna listen to you be so vulnerable and open with the fact that you struggled and think, fuck, I'm struggling right now.
Mhm.
Fuck. And it's okay to say that because
Yes.
we live in a society with the Instagram filters
Oh,
and all the shit that, like, I'm living the perfect life, I'm living the dream and I'm doing great. Where it's okay to say, fuck, I am not doing great and I'm struggling. And so, and you were having you're opening up just in general,
mhm.
you're having those conversations with your friends, but also you aren't just sitting in your shit, you are taking those baby steps
Yes.
to work on that. And that's a two-pronged approach, right?
Yes.
It's okay to talk about it, it's okay to admit it to your friends and say your shit, which I've really had a hard time doing in my life up
Yeah.
and, you know,
Most people do.
really working on that.
Hmm.
And then also starting to work on your shit. And one thing, like, I mean, I will, oh, that lady slipped, oh fuck, sorry,
Oh,
just snooping on the lady next door, slipped on her bum. She's okay though.
okay.
She's
That's
okay.
good.
But kind of what has gone, like, I've had a lot of shitty things go on, you know,
Mhm.
COVID too, and you know,
Mhm.
all this stuff. But my kind of mantra now is the worse you feel, the harder you work. The harder you work,
Yes.
the better you feel. And so when I'm at that place when I'm feeling really shitty and anxiety and depression or whatever, then I just think, get your ass down there and get working.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah.
And I totally feel the same way. I mean, yeah, we need to talk about it, absolutely. But then at the end of the day, you need to make a plan that works for you.
Yeah.
You need to do that on the inside. You can lead a horse. It's that age old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Totally.
And that's like it for everything. If someone's not ready to take that approach, or the people aren't checking in,
yeah,
then that can lead to so many things. I have been down the path of rebuilding myself a lot of times.
And
A
that's
lot
okay,
of times.
right? That's okay.
Mm-hmm. And so I kind of know how to get myself out of it. It may take me longer. The reasons for, you know, needing to rebuild changes because it's fluid.
Yeah.
But I kind of know the process, so that helps me.
Yeah.
But definitely coming up with a plan with yourself. And I knew that it was the mental game. It was my mental game that needed work to be working on.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm focusing on now, is that mental game, the mindset, changing my perspective on so many things,
Mhm.
like listening more, talking less, being simple, being honest, being okay with saying no.
Yeah.
Being okay with saying no. That was huge with me.
Mhm.
I would always say yes, and then, you know, then you're half-assing everything. And so now I just pick and choose. And I'm finding large events challenging.
Mhm.
I used to love going to large events. Now it's like, no, it's not my jam. Like, even last night at our family function, everyone was in the basement, and it's fine. It's family. I love my family and all the kids and holidays and go team. It was just hot and it was like loud and it was just, I'm like, it was just a lot to go on, and so a lot happening. And so then I just went upstairs at my aunt's place, and then I was hanging out with Maddie, my daughter, and her cousins, all the little kids. They were playing some not murder mystery, but some game, some spy game.
Okay.
They made it up and I was the number one suspect.
That's great.
But I'm like, but what did I do? And they're like, no, you're just the suspect. I'm like, but you need to have like a reason to be. And she's like, they're like, you're the suspect because you came in here looking all guilty. I'm like,
that's our life. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
That's okay. I'm like, that's a pretty great game. But anyway, but it was more like, it wasn't as like, I felt like I wasn't as closed in, and so it was just nice to just know that I needed that 5 minutes of quiet and being the number one suspect.
Yeah, that's good. And you're removing that chaos from your life. Yes. So maybe that's why you gravitated towards that, right?
Yeah. And so it was just, it was good. And so, but just knowing that is huge. And so, and most people don't, they just suffer through it. And so if you need to take 5 minutes, you need to take 5 minutes. If you need to take 10 minutes, lock yourself in a bathroom, take 10 minutes, lock yourself in a bathroom. I'm pretty sure we've all done that.
Yeah, and there's a couple really good points there. That number one, what works for your health journey and your peace journey is not necessarily going to be what somebody else needs, and so it's okay to try a bunch of different shit to see what works. Like I got a combo plan that I do, and
Recon.
yeah, I got my combo plan, but my combo plan isn't the same as Dean's.
No,
Isn't the same as Luke's.
no.
And I totally forgot my other point, but I don't know. It'll come to me later.
Yeah, it's okay. I walked into the kitchen yesterday, and I'm like, why am I here right now?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I came here for a reason. And then like 20 minutes later, I was in the shower. I'm like, oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Seriously.
Getting old.
No, it's just a hot mess.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. So making that commitment to just trying your shit, right?
Mhm.
Like trying different shit is
that's
okay.
that's the beauty of it. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the absolute beauty of it. Is that sure it's scary, but you get to try all these new things.
Yeah.
It's like trying new food,
Yeah.
right? And trying new food can be scary. There's weird shit out there. People eat wildflowers and infused with ginger and not knocking all that stuff. But
Yeah.
like there's weird stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but it's cool to try. It's cool to try new recipes. And that's like with your like self-care. You got to try yoga. If that doesn't work or you get stuck or you're a tin
Yeah.
man, like much like me,
Yeah.
try something else. I've
Yeah.
been reading a lot more and I want to learn how to crochet. Oh my gosh. Will be an event
I
that I'll
love
need
that.
to record.
Yeah.
But like, just to try it, just to see me, is this going to be relaxing or is it going to cause me to rage and rip the thing apart? Well, it's probably going to cause me to rage and rip the thing apart. We all know this, people. But I'm going to try because who knows? Maybe it won't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it'll be some sort of Zen situation.
Yeah, you never know. Like I never thought that I would like yoga. And if you like, just picture a marshmallow trying to fold in half.
Yeah,
that's my scene. But I love it. I totally.
I do.
Yeah.
I love the guided meditations that they.
Yeah, I love that.
They talk you. Oh,
Yeah.
It's my favorite. I'm like, I could just lay here and do the poses and just it causes you to have those thoughts, like those to really just look inside yourself.
Yeah, get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I
just
enjoy.
eliminate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I found, I just stumbled upon it because, and in being open, I have a fear of being on the road. It's like driving.
Oh,
So
really?
Winter,
I did not know.
yeah, that's why we're not going anywhere today. Because I'm not leaving the house till May. But
I'll come pick you up. I don't care about driving in the winter.
Yeah. So I Googled, and I'll put this on the website too, in case of any one of my million followers wants it. I started Googling self-hypnosis for driving anxiety, and they're actually that's a thing.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So I bought all these. I just went nuts and bought like scads of different self-hypnosis tapes. And the company is based in the UK, and they're about 25 minutes long, and you can get like hypnosis for smoking and sobriety and weight loss and anger and all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I never hear a thing. I have one for binge eating too, like weight loss, because I have a binge eating problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I love those chips. Chips are the best. Anyways, like I could snort that stuff. If you see me and I've got like this rim of like orange around my nose, I'm just snorting that.
That's awesome.
No, but so I listen to it before I go to bed, and it's pretty funny because it just puts me in such a deep state of relaxation and peace that I snore like a trucker. And I never remember a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I turn it off, and I'll tell you, effective as fuck.
Oh, see?
Effective as fuck.
Because so many things happen when you sleep that we don't even know.
It's rewiring the stuff. It's amazing.
That's why the sleep is so important, and it's so underrated.
Yeah.
I make sure that I get a minimum 8 hours a night.
Oh, I gotta have my sleep.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. Maddie goes to bed.
Yeah.
I go to bed.
Yeah. And
That's
if you
how it
wake
is.
me up in the middle of the night, I'm a real dink.
Oh, I get up 5 times to pee. So.
I'm an asshole, though. If you wake me up, though, I'm
it's
a
different.
complete asshole. It's a wonder we're still married, really. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. The fuck are you doing in here? Get the fuck out. Yeah. And that's really the truth.
Yeah. No, I that's always been my thing is sleep. I'll make sure that I get the sleep.
Yeah. No, it's self-care, right?
Yeah.
Like doing this stuff, especially now. Yeah. So one question, and then 40 more.
6,000
We're
more.
gonna be here till noon. We're ordering pizza later.
Pizza.
Yeah. So in your journey of working up north,
Mhm.
and you've made these connections, and I think even just based on what you've talked about now, is like what has really transformed you, or what have what have your friends up there or your experiences up there, what have they really taught you about life or about yourself? Like, what's been really like impactful? Like, what have you learned? What have they taught you?
Oh, so many things. But the main thing is that the children are everything.
Yeah.
Like it's all about the children.
Yeah.
And we have to always have to keep that in mind, put the children at the forefront when we're making any decision.
Yeah.
And how can we make things better for them? Kindness, all that, how the land teaches us so much and it gets given us so much, but we aren't respecting it enough.
Yeah, fair, hey? Yeah.
The elders, they have been around, they know. And we need to remember the teachings. And yes, I'm saying this from a First Nations perspective, but that can be applied to whichever religion. I mean, they're all called different things, but essentially they mean the same to me. I don't mean to offend anyone.
Yeah.
But as long as we're doing things honestly with love, then everything kind of works out.
Yeah, that has to be there.
And you have to take those risks, and you have to, like we've said, be vulnerable and not think you know what you're doing, but just know that the creator has this path, and you just need to be open to it. And always, my friend Sheila, she took me sage harvesting, and I'd never done that before, and she showed me how. And what you have to do, you say a prayer, and you ask.
Yeah.
You say a prayer, and then you harvest it, and same with cedar. And so it's just all about respect.
Foundation of life, hey? Love and respect. Yeah, of all things.
Yeah.
Of all things. Yeah.
And the First Nations culture, they laugh in the face of everything that they've endured.
That's amazing.
They are always laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that too, like that is, it's perspective.
Yeah,
it's a perspective thing.
We can learn so much from that. Yeah. Yeah.
And when you once you make it simple, it's not, you don't need some 6,000 page book going into the science of it all, and this study and that study and all that. No, just honestly, live honestly, be respectful, be kind, and love a lot. That's basically it.
Yeah, I really love that. Yeah, and that, I'm going to take that as a lesson. I'm going through some shit right now. Shit and just going through some shit. But it's keep it simple, right? Love and respect. Let's get just back down to that principle.
And I'm not saying my life is all rainbows and unicorns. Trust me, it's not. Trust me, I'm a I'm a thing. And I look like I'm put together, but half the time I'm making it up as I go, much like everyone. But I struggled just as much as everyone else, and I just, like what you were saying, when things get hard, you work harder, and that's what I apply things to. And I get told no all the time. Yeah, I get told no, or you should be doing this way, or why are you doing that? What is the reasoning for this? And you just sort of agree or look at them and say peace out. Yep. This is what I'm going to do.
Yep. I love that.
And I just need to find a way to get to X. It may not be the straight and narrow like everyone thinks it is. My pathway, okay, people. I have my doctor of audiology, so yes, you can call me Dr. Andrea. I only use that, drop the doctor, when people are being dicks to me. And otherwise I don't pull it out. There's no need for labels in my world. So when I was getting my undergrad, I got kicked out of university.
What?
I was academically suspended for 2 years.
Holy shit.
I went back to school, and everyone says, oh, you won't go back to school. That's bullshit, people. If someone wants to go back to school, they will go back to school.
Fuck yeah.
So when parents are all like, oh, you have to go to university right away. No, you don't. If your child wants to, they're just who at 18 knows what they want to be.
Fuck, not me.
Not most kids. Not most kids. There are a few. That really, and that's great.
Yeah.
But I was, anyway, academically suspended, kicked out, went back to school, got my undergrad, Then I was supposed to be a speech language pathologist, so I went down to University of North Dakota, and I had to get some post baccalaureate. So I got some courses to apply to grad school
Yeah.
for speech. But then I decided that I was not going to be a speech, and I took one audiology course because you have to, and then I'm like, audiology is what I'm going to do.
I love it.
So then I changed. So then I was applying to audiology. I applied to 9 grad schools, people.
Yeah, 9.
One took me. I got rejected from 8. I still have all the letters.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then I went to grad school. I was on the dean's list, top of my class. There's 7 of us in our class. We're all still friends. I'm still friends with my professors that I went to
super
Idaho
cool.
State University.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Here you are. Like, I mean, yeah, so many great lessons, you know, like, getting booted out for those 2 years, gift, because
Yeah.
it puts you on a different path that you needed to be on.
Mhm.
Hard as fuck. People doubted you. So
Mhm.
what? Keep going. And it's okay to get those no's. Like,
Yeah.
no's are not a bad thing.
Nope.
Yeah, it just means not right now. You got another path to take, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mad respect.
So, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I have my doctor, but I didn't follow the straight and narrow like everyone else did. And
Yeah.
I was like one of the oldest in my class, but that doesn't matter because I'm still where I am. And I remember being in grad school and saying that I'm going to change the world.
I love it.
And then here I am.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of changing the world
Oh,
one
hell
year
yeah.
at a time.
Sure you are.
And so it's all about just, you have this passion, you need to find it, and then you need to harbor it, and you need to just stop at nothing to do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And people are always going to say no, because when people are happy, everyone gets pissy, which I don't understand that concept.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm happy, so I'm going to bring you down. Like, what? How about let's just be happy together and have some donuts and baked goods.
Yeah, and be happy for each other.
Yeah.
And my motto, like one motto that I've really had to adopt over my life is, I love you, but fuck you. I love you, but fuck off. Like,
yeah,
I love you, but fuck off.
Right now, you're really annoying me.
Yeah.
Like I say to Steven, my partner, boyfriend, but I feel like I'm in high school when I say boyfriend. It's like, I love you, but you're chewing right now, and I'm gonna like rip your head off.
Yeah. Oh, I'm there. I'm there.
Or like he sleeps and then he clicks. He clicks.
Oh, he clicks.
Oh. So then even today he's like, how did you sleep? I'm like, you're a horrible sleeper. You keep moving and you sleep like a V, and then your butt hits me, and I'm like, he's like, but I had a good sleep. I'm like, wow, good. I'm happy. I'm happy for you there,
you're lucky. I love you.
I know. Good thing you're cute.
That's great. That's great. No, that's so true. And so one thing that I love is how you're taking, like you talked about changing the world, and we can laugh about it, but it's really true. Like, I mean, you've really made a big impact on your community up north, which is massive. But you're taking your love of training and your devotion to your training,
yes,
and you're making an impact all the time, and you're always coming up with these, I got a fucking idea, which I love, because I'm like, I got an idea too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, my newest idea is there's this Island Lake search and dive team.
Okay.
And so it's the only First Nations search and rescue team in Canada.
Wow.
And my friend Tanya, who I spoke of, she's on it.
Okay.
She's on the search, and she took the training, and they had that last summer. And so what I'm doing now is I'm fundraising to raise money so that they can buy more equipment.
That is so needed.
And so this is
so needed.
Yeah, and so this is what my project is for the new year. Like, I started it, so I had like a kickoff swim. Basically, I swam for 3 hours in a pool. I swam 7.25 kilometers in 3 hours.
Yeah.
The longest pool swim that I've ever done in my life.
That's amazing.
And my goggles didn't fog up once, so that's pretty awesome. The Magic 5 is the name of the goggle company.
Okay.
Anyway, great goggles. Anyways, and so, and Tanya came.
Yeah.
And she is she's amazing. She's in Europe right now for the UN declared a day. I don't know all the details for the indigenous languages.
Okay.
And so her and 3 other people from Manitoba, they're on this like journey of like preserving the language
Yeah,
and
so important.
finding the dialect.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was here and she she swam with me, her longest swim ever in her life, let alone in a pool.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's so cute. She was saying when we were done, she was saying, I was watching you swim and I thought to myself, wow, Andrea can really swim. That's what real swimming is. But what I'm doing is strolling in the water.
Strolling. I'm a paddler and a stroller and a bobber.
Yeah. I just thought that was really cute.
That's great.
But anyway, so then I have all these ideas on how to be more successful with fundraising, so that it's more successful, I guess, than the St. Teresa Point for the church. And so I have a few events, but the penultimate moment is going to be hopefully in July of next year, where I'm going to swim open water. So we're thinking Lee River in Lactabani.
Okay.
About 26 miles.
That's
continuous.
Crazy.
And
Holy
so then if I
shit.
do the math, it would take me about 18 hours.
Yeah. That's bananas. And,
nonstop.
And funds will go to the diving team.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
I have a story for you, and we're going to talk about how we can jump on and start supporting you, because the more we get the word out, right?
Yes.
So was it last summer? Not this past summer, but the summer before. Shit, my brain.
Yes,
but
it's
anyhow,
okay. You're not alone.
Southwestern Manitoba Community Reston is where I grew up and went to school, and they made a little man-made lake there. It's not very deep. I think it's maybe 6 feet deep. I'm not sure. It's just this little lake, which is a fantastic addition to the community.
Oh, absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So one night, my friend and I decided to meet there for a drink because, I was out there for the week and we hadn't seen each other. She lived in Melita, and we decided just to hang out at the picnic tables and have a drink. And this family came and they were going to, do this. They came parked kind of beside us, and they were from the local Indigenous reserve that was down the highway. Great people, really great people. My friend knew a couple of the people in the group, and they were just, there was a couple kids there and a couple adults, and they were just going to have a swim. It was like Friday or Saturday night, and then all of a sudden, one of the adults says, like, where's so-and-so?
Oh.
Like, have you seen so-and-so? And this lake is legit 6 feet deep. Like, it's fucking nothing. And we got up and we were all searching, and it's by a golf course. We were searching the golf course, and he had drowned. And it took, the community, like the paramedics, like the fire team came and whatnot, and they were in there trying to search, and they're like, is he in there? Like, we're not sure, but we think so. And my friend and I were fairly certain that he was, because nobody saw him get out. And I think they brought the dive team from Brandon, I'm not sure. But finally by midnight, they had discovered his body, which is completely tragic.
Yes.
So to get dive teams for our communities up north, for our rural communities, if there is such a need for that. And, I've always thought of that family, because devastating, just fucking devastating.
I can't even imagine, because you can drown in 2 inches of water.
Yeah, and it's not like a case like, and I mean, I really have to express this, that it's not a case where this young man was fucking around or acting like a dick or
anything can happen.
Or supremely hammered. He wasn't. Like, I mean, I think there was, some suspicions, but he was just a young man floating around, having a good time. Nobody will know what happened.
No.
He didn't deserve it, and the despair, the trauma for that family. So if we can get that kind of services for our communities up north, all across the board, and our rural communities, like, so maybe there's a way. Like, I mean, if you're watching this podcast and you're impacted by this, then we can share the contact information, because anything at all to honor our communities and the support that they're trying to do and support is a big deal.
Well, yeah, it just goes to the fact of letting people know that they're not alone. Like, we may not have experienced something exactly that they've experienced, but just being a human, we can understand the emotions and the feelings. And just, that's another thing too, is that what I've learned from going up north and just in general, is that everyone just wants to be loved. Like, everyone just wants to know that they're not alone and people are listening.
Yeah.
And like it comes back to, we're so isolated with everything. Like everything's virtual, everything is Zoom, everything is Teams, everything is like Uber Eats and like Uber and like skip the dishes, and like that's just causing us to be more separate. The
Yeah.
kids are all texting.
Yeah.
Everyone talks. We text to people in the same room.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so, I'm really militant with Madeline, my daughter. She basically never gets electronics. She has to be able to hold a conversation, which
Yeah.
she does, and
Yeah,
she can.
that's great.
And but that's rare.
It is rare, and it's
It is
rare.
rare.
It's not just teens; it's all
No.
across the board
Yeah.
that we are losing that human connection,
Yeah.
which is so important. So
Yeah.
if we can do something for our communities up north, we can raise money, we can get those supports, but we can say we give a shit.
Yeah.
It's that give a shit factor.
Right. And it's totally. I mean, everyone, that's all everyone wants is, validation.
Give a shit.
Right? Yeah, I care. I'm here. I got you.
Yeah.
Here's some rainbows and unicorns.
I love it.
That's what I love. I am a unicorn.
And I just have to say, I have to tell everybody that every morning when I get up and work out, invariably there is a message from you on my Instagram. I don't know how you come up with that shit. It's just so great. It's just it's like little nuggets of gold.
I just think, and that's what I write. I've been told I should write a book.
It's so about, you can record that shit. That. Yeah, you really could.
It just comes so natural.
It's just, I love it, and the stuff that you come up with. So these little inspirational messages, like you got this, and all this stuff, and the little emoticons or emojis and stuff like that. And then I'm just like, you're amazing. Heart. Like that's, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it in here.
And the thing is, when I message you, I don't expect a response back. I'm just like, basically, I'm thinking of you and you're in my thoughts, and this is my way of connecting, letting you know that I got you.
Changing the world like that. Those little messages are making a big impact. So do you send that like to a bunch of people?
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I do. I've been doing it since COVID.
So what made you start doing that?
Because I just would think about what I'd want to hear.
Fuck yeah. Right.
Right? And I know if I'm feeling this way, then other people are feeling this way.
Yeah.
And so then that's how I started it.
Yeah, human connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are impacting the world one ear at a time, one swim at a time.
Basically, want to know what? I'll give you some insight.
Yeah.
I basically, when I'm coming up with that, I'm basically telling myself what I want to hear.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, I need to hear this at this moment.
Yeah.
And so if I wait around, I'm in my own brain, right? So, and I'm like, oh, I bet you other people would want to hear this too. And so then that's how I come up with it. I'm like, what would I tell myself?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
See? Always.
Yeah. I think you need to be a recurring guest.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe we need to do that so we can.
We could do a co-host.
Oh yeah,
we could bring on someone else.
Well, let's bring in that Sheila.
We could bring in Sheila, and then we could double team her.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You guys, I can't wait to bring Sheila in.
I could set it up.
Yeah. So,
I know the Sheilas. I could text her right after this.
Let's do it. So just to give you a little bit of a teaser trailer, man, this is like, I'm legit now. Like if I've got fans and teaser trailers now, like.
Sheila is who I want to be when I grow up.
Yes, she's amazing.
Yes.
So if you were involved in our Leroy yoga event, Sheila makes these amazing mitts, and they're fur lined and stuff. But she's got a crazy ass journey that I think I only know a sliver of. She's a very good person. Like she is legit, like generous and kind and all this stuff. So yeah, it would be great to have her on because and I think
she's pretty much the coolest badass that I know. So I aspire. She, I was telling her yesterday that she motivates me and inspires me every single day. And I strive to be a better person because of what she's taught me and what she continues to teach me.
Yeah. So I think that'll be because I know just a sliver of Sheila.
Yeah.
I know just a sliver. And when she delivered those mitts for our yoga event, we stood out on the step and just even like the 20 seconds of stuff that she told me about what she does in her journey, I was like, fuck, you're amazing. And that's the cool part about this podcast is that I think we're going to get an opportunity to meet lots of really amazing people that you just wouldn't have any other fucking clue that are out there. It will give us hope, I think.
And that's the thing too, is that the people that are really making the difference just do it. You don't need kudos. Yeah. You don't need all the stuff on social media. You don't need all that stuff. You just do it because it's the right thing to do, and you don't even think about doing
That's
it.
exactly it.
You just do it because that's just your nature.
Yeah.
And I don't need someone to tell me, oh, talk about you and I need to have all the likes and all the crap.
You're not doing it. You're just doing it
if you're doing that, then you're not doing it for the right reasons. Just like the monetary value, right? If you're doing it all just for money, then are you really doing it?
And you're coming out, when you give all that stuff, you always come out the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yeah. There's nothing more. I love just connecting with random strangers.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. It's my absolute favorite.
You know what we should really do? Fuck, we should do this.
Yes, fuck.
Yeah, yes, fuck. We should really. I'm getting another idea.
Yay, I love ideas.
Random strangers. We should do, like, I don't know if we do a podcast or something where we just go out and just connect with random strangers and just have like discussions with random, because I'm all about that too. I'm all about that.
Come up with these weird, crazy questions and see how people answer.
Yeah, just talk to them.
Yeah.
What's your thing?
Hey, what makes you happy?
Yeah. I love it.
Or what is your idea of a perfect day? What does your perfect day look like?
Yeah.
Can you answer that? Can you answer that right now? What does your perfect day look like?
Well, I think my perfect day is connecting with people. Like, that lights my ass. And connecting with strangers and finding out their stories. Like, I just love that shit.
When people have to think about it and they can't come up with an idea,
yeah.
Well, then how do you know what your perfect day, how can you strive for your perfect day if you don't even know what it looks like?
And sometimes we might think, oh, a perfect day is the spa or a trip or all that shit. But honestly, like, a perfect day, when you really sit down and think about it, it is really simple. And I'll give you an example. So I was really sick in November after our yoga event. I got wildly.
Oh no!
wildly
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
It was really fucking brutal. And Dean was like, quizzing me, like, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas? And I was like, fuck, I don't feel like I'm not gonna die. Like, I just want to feel decent. And so now, had my 25th birthday on Friday.
Yes.
And I got up.
Happy birthday, 25.
Thank you. 25 feels good.
I know.
Yeah. So, and I thought, I feel really good. Yeah, I feel, my bum isn't sore. Like, I feel good. Like, and I have a bum story. That's why I always say that. Off the top, have I told you my bum story?
No.
Okay, you know what? That's gonna be a podcast right there. Is my bum story, and I'm gonna tell you, this is no shit. I was a keynote speaker for a graduation ceremony out in Melita a bunch of years ago.
Now, are you from Melita?
I lived in Melita for 8 years. I was a teacher there. And I told my bum story. I opened with my bum story when I did my speech, and I got a standing ovation.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good story.
No, did you ever know Don Robertson of the Robertson family? They moved from Melita a long time ago.
Doesn't sound
familiar. But he was the minister, perhaps?
Okay, yeah. Doesn't ring a bell, but that doesn't mean anything.
One of my favorite people. He was an elder.
Really?
And his son, David Robertson, the author.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his son.
Okay. Well,
anyway, he was one of the elders at Manitoba First Nations Education Resource Center. He was a really, really, really strong force.
My friend probably knows.
Yeah, he was an amazing.
Super. Yeah.
Amazing man.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have covered a lot of ground.
Sorry,
no, it's all good. It's all good. So, we're just starting to like gossip and stuff. So, no, but thank you very much. Thank you. This was super. Like, this was like a rock star podcast.
I know. Everyone's gonna love it. Our 1 million followers.
Our 1 million followers. So, too, you are 1 million followers. I think we should have Andrea back as a recurring co-host, and we need to have Sheila back.
Yes, and I can set that up.
Yeah, excellent. So we're gonna wrap it up. As always, pay somebody a compliment, buy somebody coffee, just do something really good, and. Yeah, you're a rock star. See you later.